Getting to the money, I be getting to the back. People think I'm funny cause I always make them laugh. I ain't even being funny, I be really spitting facts. I'm about balance and I got talent. Every challenge I overcome. Low key is savage, never be average. Give me a task and I'll get it done. Minding my business whenever I come in. I'm hitting in business while I'm having fun. I ain't worried about winning, but that would be dumb cause there's no competition. I already won, huh? Yeah.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I will be continuing my Lilith Through the Signs series with Lilith in Libra, or Lilith in the 7th house. And so, sorry guys. This video is for you if you have Lilith in Libra or Lilith in the 7th house. However, I do advise you to go through all 7 signs because you have these placements, these all 12 houses in your chart, and it gives you an idea of all the topics that are ruled by each sign. It's just a good habit to get into, especially if you're somebody who's trying to learn astrology or just heal full circle and not just for your top 3. It's something to keep in mind. It's a good practice to get into. I know it can be a lot and it's overwhelming, but these themes will undoubtedly come up in your life. Anytime you have moon, sun, or any other transiting planet going on in the sky in your chart, and it's going to bring up a lot of these themes. So it's a good idea to listen to all 12 videos. That's just my personal and professional opinion, but yeah, let's get into it. And so what is Lilith? Lilith is mythology. There's a story behind Lilith. The mythology of Lilith is about Lilith is Adam's first wife before Eve came along, and they were both made equal. They're both made from the dirt. They both had skills, knowledge, and independence. They were equal. But over time, Adam became dominant and wanted to dominate her, control her, tell her what to do, and always be on top. And Lilith didn't want to submit to Adam. She wanted to be on top sometimes, and she wanted to do what she wanted at times. And so because Lilith didn't submit, she was booted out of the Garden of Eden and became very vengeful and went in a rage around the world, pretty much terrorizing people, doing devilish things, sleeping with demons, having babies with demons, killing demons, and trying to coerce other women not to submit to their partner, or that they don't have to submit to their partner. And so Lilith is a representation of where we are repressed, suppressed, where our repressed sexual energy is, where we are shamed and embarrassed. And so typically Lilith has a lot more to do with the lower expressions of ourselves. And so these videos tend to be a little bit more harder to hear, or more focused on the lower expression rather than the positive. So keep that in mind. But Libra is a cardinal air sign. It's ruled by Venus, and it lives in the 7th house. The 7th house represents marriage, partnerships, relationships of all kinds, contracts, agreements, counseling, mostly marriage counseling, but it could be considered any kind of counseling, mentorship. It's also any kind of legal matters or anything to do with courthouses and state legal matters. And because it's ruled by Venus, it's your beauty, money, your desires and pleasures, your fashion style or sense, and your ability to make money, be creative, and how you express yourself in that way. All right. And so these people might be treated like your desires are wrong. The people around you might make you feel like your desire for achievement is wrong and superficial, unrealistic. And they could even steal your ideas. You attract hidden enemies. You have an allure about you that people like, but don't really understand why they like it. And so because of that, they'll want to get close to you to see if you are who you say you are, but they're really not your friend. They secretly want to be you and want to understand why you get what you want and they don't. Your partners may treat you like you're flawed, selfish, or again, that your desires and pleasures are too much for them or over sexualized in some way. And they might try to make you feel small or shunned for those specific things. You ooze sexual energy, even if you're not a sexual person. People will perceive you to be hypersexual. Again, even if you're not a sexual person, anything sex related, they'll accuse you of it again, shame you for it, make you feel bad for it, whatever it is to kind of bring you down to size, if you will. People will often want to have sexual relationship talks with you, even if you've never brought it up. Yeah. People will see you as open, free, spirited, and a very sexual person. Again, even if you don't feel that way about yourself, this is just the way people are always going to see you. Because of your Lilith energy, it just exudes sexual energy or prowess. However, you might have a very high sex drive, or you really you're not like squeamish about sex. And so you can have a sexual conversation with anybody. Doesn't mean that you intend on having sex with them or anything of that nature. But because of that, people will often perceive you as somebody who's over sexualized, a cheater, untrustworthy, when it's really just their insecurities about themselves and how they feel about themselves. You can attract partners who will become very obsessed with you. You have the ability to make someone leave their current partner, or you tend to find yourself in love triangles. When all you really want is a partner who will go out of their way to show you they value you and you will reciprocate that energy. You may attract partners who make you feel ashamed sexually to be with them. You tend to attract emotionally unavailable people or older men and self-sabotaging partnerships. You may take on the identity of your partner without knowing it and become codependent, to the point where it becomes really toxic and nobody knows who they are or whose role is what. And there needs to be a lesson of boundaries here. And so when you're at your higher self, Lilith can show up as somebody who has very strong boundaries in relationships and partnerships without drowning your own needs. You have the ability to listen and be heard. You have the ability to explain things in a way that is very understanding and simplistic and even pleasant to listen to in some way that compels people to want to hear what you have to say, that makes you very desirable. And this is probably why people seem to feel like you always get what you want. I think a lot of people have a unhealthy understanding of what it means to be submissive. This is something that comes very easy to Libra energy in general because you rule submission or the what it means to be submissive. And it's not so much about submitting to somebody in the way that I think we all feel that submission is understood in today's society, but it's more so like Libra's a diplomat. They hold the key to both sides of a particular story to come in the middle and make a judgment decision. So you have to hear both sides. If you think about a judge and what responsibilities it is as a judge to make a decision, you have to hear both sides biasly. You know, you cannot have a bias about a particular situation. And even if you do, you have to be able to keep your emotions and thoughts and what you feel out of the situation. This is something that Libras are superb at because it comes natural to their energy. And because of that, there isn't a certain je ne sais quoi, right, that you have to be able to have in these situations, especially when it's high tension. People are arguing their sides. They already hate each other and don't get along. Emotions are running high, and you have to be the balanced person in the middle to make a equal decision for both parties. And because of that, because that is a skill that you possess, you will get shunned a lot for your ability to do that because people will tend to think it should be one way or the other when both and all parties can win. And as a Venusian energy, that's about balance, give and take, reciprocity, you know, and what's best for both people, compromise. We're not, I mean, how often are people being taught that, right? And so most people think it's either one way or the other when two sides of a story can be true. It's the principle of it. It's the bottom line. It's the point of origin that needs to be considered. And then we have a bigger conversation on how to make a judgment call on what's what. And these things come very natural to Libra people. Now, if you find yourself struggling with your ability to tap into that, whether you feel like you have that skill or not, 9 times out of 10, what Lilith is going to do is stir up the trauma inside of you that you have lost the ability to do that, but it'll put you in situations where you are always having to do that. Very high tense situations, embarrassing situations, shameful, hurtful, painful situations until you learn that lesson. And the lesson is, again, to have boundaries, to be able to love yourself first. The desires that you want met within yourself, you have to meet them yourself first. And so if you find yourself as somebody who's over sexualized, or you have a high sex drive, self pleasure, and it's probably going to be one of the most healthiest things that you can do. Instead of giving your sexual prowess to someone else, you give it back to yourself. You feed yourself. You'll find yourself more creative. You're thinking more outside the box. You find solutions. You do well on your own once you take the initiative to start healing yourself and doing all the things that you want others to do for you in a way that is gives you complete autonomy and power, and to stand on business when you say, no, I don't want this because, right? And you'll be able to explain it because you've experienced it for yourself. You've walked a mile in your own shoes, emotions, desires, pleasure, wants, needs, and you met yourself in the middle. And the more that you do that, the more power you gain of yourself. And that puts you in a position to make judgment calls that are healthy, compromising, and allows everybody to be happy in the midst of trauma, turmoil, etc. So I hope that was helpful. Family, this is my interpretation of Lilith and Libra. As usual, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.